You could write a book. You ever thought about writing a book about
I
all
have,
this
and
stuff?
I've had people comment. They're like, "Man, you got to put this together." So I've got an outline for the book, and I'm going through like the histories of the things, but it sounds like people are more after the backstories behind the covers. So that's kind of what I'm going to focus on. I'm gonna probably put 400 covers in there. We've done 19,180, but with the additional covers that I've done, probably more like 19,400 covers. All of them were not these mega special effects type things, but many of them were iconic. So I'm going to try to include the iconic ones in there, and I'm going to try to give the backstory on how the whole cover came about, the funny stuff that happened, the not so funny stuff that happened, what it was like working with the artists, and what those artists are personality like. And I think a lot of people, you know, they see them on stage and they see them in the public eye, and I see them on the other side, right? So I see them as these friendly, goofy, hysterical, just crack ups. I mean, when you get these guys together and you start throwing down, it goes from here to here, and you're just dying laughing. I mean, the biggest issue is on the photo sets was trying not to smile because they're trying to look hard, right? I'm like, yeah, you can't smile. I'm like, well, you just made fun of my knees. I was like, stop about the ashy knees. We're not going to talk about that anymore. And they just start. I'm like, it was hysterical, man. It was a good time. We had a ball. One thing that everybody will say about Pen and Pixel, any customers that came to Pen and Pixel, they said they laughed. They laughed hard because we had a ball doing it, man. Yep. Good people. Good people.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you have a like an all-time favorite cover?
You know, there are some of them that, you know, have reached sort of this iconic type status. I mean, everybody thinks Pen and Pixel, they're like, okay, so we have Master P, Last On, boom, that's a big one. We have Juvenile, 400 Degrees. We have Big Bear, right? Everybody looks at that cover and they've rated it the worst cover, the best cover. Everybody's in between. But the fact of the matter is, people are still kind of mesmerized by that whole genre of music. So for me, I kind of look at a cover as how many items can I put in there that you will find later, like Finding Waldo. And it's a shame that some of them are CDs. When they start getting blown up into poster size and people stop and they look at it, they're like, hold on, wait a minute. What is that? What is this? Right? And they start going at it. And there's thought on every single item that goes in there. Either it's a personal tribute or a personal asset to the artist or his music, but every tiny little item that's in there on the tables, in his hand, behind him, is pertinent to what the artist told me when I sat down with him. So it's a real personal expression of what those artists are doing, not just an element to increase record sales. One of my favorites, one I did for Two Live Crew. In fact, I might even have that on the wall. It's called The Real One, and they came in, obviously Two Live Crew. They're great guys and they're funny, and they thought they were going to have to do all these photo shoots and do everything else. I was like, no. We're going to shoot everything in the studio, including the Rolls Royce. We're going to make it into a limo. We're going to put a jacuzzi in the back of it with a bunch of honeys playing volleyball. And they're like, you know, we thought we smoked some wild weed, but I don't know what you're smoking, brother. And I'm like, we can do this. And they're like, really? And I go, yeah, when you get out of the car, there'll be all this cash flowing out of the car, and there'll be press and there'll be everything. And you'll be like coming out of a like this, like spaceship type thing. And they were like, so I sketched it out and they were like, yeah, let's do it. And I did it. And that piece probably has 150 layers in it. And it took probably 3 weeks to do it, but we pulled it off. And it, to me, every time I look at it, I just laugh because I know all the little things that we put in there and all the honeys and all the reflections and all that other sort of stuff. And I knew how long it took. And it was a labor of love. I loved doing it for him. And it was a great cover.
Wow, shout out to Two Live Crew, man. I'm gonna have to go back and check that one out,
Check
man.
that one out. Yeah.